Welcome back, Space Cadets, and thank you for your patience. In the last video, you guys got to see Space Cat, which isn't his real name, by the way. He's actually named after Jasmine's tiger. Space Cat is just sort of his screen name. And yes, I did notice he could use a bath. But he really hates baths, and I'm pretty sure he could take me in a fight. In fact, last time I tried to give him a bath, I was wearing this. Yeah, not pretty. I'm kidding. That's a story for another time. But no, he won't go anywhere near a bath unless I'm in it, and then he'll come hang over the edge and be like, well, what do we have here? People soup? And I'll be like, actually, it's a magic potion that'll turn your fur nice and fluffy. Care to try it? And I'll be like, oh, you mean H2O? No, thank you. Unless it's in my water dish, I'm allergic to this stuff. Besides, Space Cat, he has no interest in being on camera, and therefore couldn't care less about being camera ready. He'd rather choke on a chihuahua than be famous. His words, not mine. No, he's actually very polite and gets along with other animals quite well. Except maybe birds and mice. He might sort of chew on them a bit. Anyway, in this series, we are going to be taking a look at how some occurrences on Earth seem to be mirrored or echoed in celestial objects as well as points of reference. For example, the horizon or where the lunar path crosses the ecliptic. But primarily we'll be focusing on the asteroids, which have very specific names. Okay, so when I say echo, I mean verbatim. Stories are pictures painted with words. And some of my favorites include those of Sherlock Holmes. But being President of the United States doesn't leave me with a lot of time for leisurely activities. So I have to resort to things like film and television. Because movies are books that we watch. I am very quotable in this video. Today we'll be looking at the chart of Lara Pulver, who has portrayed one of my favorite fictional characters, Irene Adler. And you can see her just there. Maybe, I don't know, it's kind of small. There's a line in William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, which reads, "What's in a name? That which we call rose, by any other name would smell as sweet." Well, my dear Shakespeare, we are about to find out. All right, Space Cadets, please excuse any background noise. This microphone tends to pick up a bit of that. So we are looking at Lara Pulver's information as according to Astro.com, which gives a speculative time of 3 p.m., which is why it gets a Rodden rating C. And if you click on this, it'll tell you about the ratings and why a chart gets the rating that it receives. Over here, this is a Placidus chart, but today we're going to be having a look at a whole signs chart because Placidus can tend to squish things up a bit sometimes. So this is just a little easier on the eyes, but don't worry about the chart divisions. We're not going to be focusing on that today, or these glyphs really. You know, if you're not into astrology, then don't worry about it. We're going to be focusing on the asteroids and planets. So just to give you a brief rundown, this little X marks our perspective from Earth. This is the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. This is Chiron. This glyph over here is known as Lilith, but it's not a planet or an asteroid. This is a mathematical point which denotes the moon's apogee. So that's what that is. This over here also, these two things, these are mathematical points. This is where the moon's path crosses the ecliptic going up over it. This is where it crosses going down under. AC is the eastern horizon or the ascendant. MC is stands for medium caeli. This is a Latin term that means middle of the sky. And then you have the asteroids, which are sometimes cut off, like this says London. This is Holmes, Lilith, Sherlock, Adler, Irene, Baker, Serpe, and this is Irene Adler. But again, you know, these things get cut off sometimes. Here's a listing. This says Irene Adler. I know it's a bit fuzzy, but trust me. Over here it's a 6 cap. This is the location. So, you know, that's just helps you to differentiate between asteroids sometimes when they get cut off. And really quick, the reason why I put these Lilith asteroids in here is because the Lilith archetype deals with things like pain, sex, contravention, which is like breaking rules, violating laws. These themes seem to be, you know, a bit Irene Adler, in my opinion. So yeah, we're going to start with Irene going clockwise. And this asteroid we can see is aspecting Sherlock as well as Lilith and the Sun. Then we have Serpe, which is conjunct the ascendant. A conjunction is when two things are in the same location or roughly the same location. You know, I'll give about a 3-degree orb or spacing. And Serpe, her address is Bryony Lodge, Serpentine Avenue, St. John's Wood, London, which is a fictional address, but not far from Baker Street. And you can see Serpe is not far from Baker. Serpentine means of or like a serpent or snake. Serpe is snake in Italian. Okay, so yeah, not far from Baker. And Baker is right across from her moon. Over here we have Irene conjunct Adler. Thought that was interesting. Sherlock conjunct Lilith. And Holmes is also conjunct Lilith, one of the Liliths in a chart. Over here we have London conjunct Venus, which is the symbol for woman or female. And Sherlock Holmes refers to her as the woman. So I just thought that was interesting. So that concludes Laura's chart. If you're interested in having a look at where certain names fall in your chart, your own name or people you know, I like this listing from minorplanetcenter.net because they generally keep things fairly up to date. The only issue I see with this is that some of the asteroids are out of alphabetical order. If you click on Other, you know, it should bring you to those asteroids, but for some reason it takes you to D. I don't know why it does that. So what you want to do is you want to go to Z. If my computer will go there. Come on. Sometimes the listing acts up a bit. Really? Okay. So yeah, this is the beginning of Z. If your name is Yvette, you might want to start with Z and then backtrack. It'll be quicker as long as the chart is, or the listing is working. But yeah, this is the beginning of Z. You'll scroll to the end and find, okay, yeah, here's some asteroids that are out of alphabetical order. Why? I don't know. Here's Van Gogh. But yeah, if you don't find your name, don't worry. My name was only just added. Well, I noticed it on the 1st of January this year. So I don't know when they added it exactly. But don't lose hope if you don't see your name. My name at birth was at 77 degrees Leo. It is now transiting Sagittarius, crossing Neptune, which is said to rule over this section, which has my Venus, Sun, and Mars. This is what my chart looks like, Placidus. Okay, so that concludes this section of the video. So references. I think what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and create a supplemental playlist. That'll just make things easier. You know, all the information will be in one spot. I'm going to add a video called Why Nature Loves Hexagrams. I think that's what it's called. It's about 6 minutes long, and what they go over in that video could give you a better understanding of the little blue aspect lines in a chart. I'll add a lecture on the asteroids, which goes over some basic information like how the asteroids get their names. It also has some examples of charts on that video. And I'll add a little mini asteroid tutorial. And in that video, they go over the houses and give some examples as to what an asteroid may be indicative of given its position in the chart. And anyone who's interested in expanding their understanding of astrological knowledge, she has an entire library of videos, and she really knows her stuff. So, by show of thumbs, do you agree with that which we call destiny, or is it simply too bizarre? Some things seem written in the stars. Oh, now you want to be on camera, huh? Right.